Afternoon, everybody. Adam Kilgore here for Outdoor Analytics, and I wanted to do a follow-up video before we roll into the hunting to add to the intro I did about my recent experiences down in Uvalde County, Texas, bow hunting aoudad. Now, the original plan was to run from that intro I did on location into the hunting and to describe it while I'm hunting what makes the species and the ranch so special. But some of the video didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it, and I also wanted to take a little extra time to detail not only the unique species I was after, but the unique place I was at. So that's what I'm doing now. To start off with, the species I was after is one of my favorite game animals pretty much in the world to hunt, and that is aoudad, or Barbary sheep. Like the name implies, these sheep or goat, they're kind of biologically a cross between or somewhere in the middle, come from North Africa. And they were imported here a couple hundred years ago or over 100 years ago. And there's different kind of folklore, and depending on the location you're at, will tell you why they were imported, where they were first imported, and how they spread. But spread they have throughout a couple states in the southwest part of the United States. And they are very, very good at adapting and living where natural North American sheep would live, i.e. desert bighorn sheep. In fact, so much so that New Mexico and a couple different units want to push them out, want them shot, want them removed so they can reintroduce the desert bighorn. But they're having a hard time doing that because this species is so hardy, so adaptable, and really lives in places that it's very hard to get rid of them by legally hunting. There's just not enough hunters that want to go after them in such a manner to decrease their numbers. So they are an amazing animal. They are stocky, they're all shoulders, they have fantastic eyesight. They are, for all intents and purposes, a big game sheep hunt. Now the difference is a couple between these sheep and other sheep you're going to hunt in North America. The primary difference is cost. Thankfully, the cost of aoudad and their prestige is not on the level that it is as other North American wild sheep. And because of this, you can hunt an aoudad for about a tenth of the price you can for many dull sheep, bighorn sheep, stone sheep, those kind of species. The other main difference is kind of the terrain. These sheep, some live in fairly steep locations in the southwest part of the United States, but because of that, because of the geography down there, they're not as high. They're not in the Rockies. They're not at that 13,000, 15,000 foot level. So it's a different style of hunting them, but the terrain's very rugged. In all places you'll see aoudad. The locations are, for a Midwest guy like myself, the locations are exotic and fun to travel to and fun to hunt in. Now, as I said before, they're stocky. They're their build is very goat slash sheep-like. They're all shoulders that they can get up into these cliffs and rocks and scale stuff that looks like the fireplace behind me that they can walk up. They sport curving horns. And here's the skull cap off of an average size aoudad. I was blessed last time to take one considerably larger, but this is kind of the general shape and form of an aoudad's horns. They sweep back and they have some mass. Like I said, this is just an average size ram, but they get quite considerably larger than this, up into the lower to mid 30s even lengthwise. So they're a unique look. They look really fascinating. Like all sheep or goats, they have this very, very thick skull up front here for ramming each other for when they fight for dominance, and it's pretty awesome. But you can hear it in the cliffs behind you when you're hunting, that these rams will butt heads, and just like a bighorn, you can hear that crack and echoing through the canyons. It makes it a very, very awesome hunt. I very much enjoy hunting these animals. Like you probably can tell, this is my second time doing it, and given the funds or the time, I would do it more often than I do. Now, moving on from the species to the location, the Bowranch in Uvalde County. The outfitter there is Tony Arce, and he runs the place with some help from his friends and family. Now, if you were to call up or to meet at a show any 10 outfitters that specialize in aoudad, and you tell them that you'd like to do an aoudad hunt, most outfitters and guides are pretty much thrilled to do these hunts because they oftentimes take place at times either late in the year or early in the year when it's not interfering with other forms of their hunting. It's not interfering with their mule deer hunting, their elk hunting, if they guide in the southwest or in the west. But if you ask those same 10 outfitters and then say, I would like to do this with my bow, you're either going to see a gasp or hear a gasp, excuse me, from them, or see a smirk. And that is because the success rate on bow hunting free range aoudad, and why I mention free range aoudad quite a bit is because the aoudad are also a species that are often kept on game farms in different locations, but bow hunting free range wild aoudad is an incredibly low success rate hunt. So you will be met with a lot of resistance out of most outfitters. But what makes a Bowranch so incredibly special is they not only accept this or want this for bow hunting, it is the only thing allowed, like the name applies, on the ranch. You're not going to hunt with a rifle, you're not going to hunt with a muzzleloader, you're not going to hunt with a pistol, you're going to hunt with a bow. In order to be continually successful or to have opportunities of success with a bow on free range aoudad, there is a lot of work that has to be done. And that is why I'm so drawn to Tony and his operation, and why I think it pairs so well with outdoor analytics. Tony approaches the hunts, and more importantly, prior to the hunts, in a way that would make any CIA analyst proud. He researches, he observes, he records, and he analyzes the data on these animals. The ranch has trail cams all over the place, and he is constantly, Tony is constantly looking at these pictures, looking at these different rams, changing his strategy, changing his tactics around, putting the hunter in the best possible positions to be successful. Now these rams live on tall cliffs and rocks down there, and they come down lower to feed. Tony has minerals set out, some alfalfa set out, just different methods of attracting the aoudad off these cliffs and mountains. But it is very, very far from a bait and shoot, automatic coming in, feeding type thing. Generally when you hunt at the Bowranch, it is later in the season, so it's cooler weather, typically speaking, for South Texas. And these rams do not need, or these sheep do not need to come off the mountain for water or mineral or food for days. And because of that, if you make too much disturbance back there, and back there I mean behind the lodge or cabin area in the hunting area, these rams, these sheep, will simply stay on top of those cliffs and away from you for the duration of your hunt. I generally am one of the last guys to go to sleep at any camp I'm at. I'm always packing or repacking for the next day, sharpening broadheads, making sure my boots are working fitting just right, that there's no mud in them, making sure my gear's clean, making sure the camera's working, 1,000 different things. And what impressed me most, and I guess what the best example of how much preparation Tony puts into these hunts is this. When I finally decided to call it a quit that first night and go to the bunk and sleep, Tony was still up pulling videos and pictures from camera and analyzing which of these rams were hitting which camera, all spread out through this ranch, and when and where, so that he could annotate that and kind of form a plan on where they move and how they move, which is extremely hard to do on nomadic animals such as aoudad. But Tony has a knack for it, he's been successful with it, and he will work to make you successful there too. Now the hunts are a semi-guided operation, meaning you get there, Tony or one of his crew will show you around, they will show you the different areas of the hunt, they will tell you, give you the best intel of where these sheep have been, when they're seeing them, what the best strategies they feel are for that time, and then they'll back off and the hunt is yours. You can go out when you want and come back when you want. Of course, the more time you spend hunting, the better, but that's up to you. It's your hunt. This is what makes the Bowranch so very special. It's what makes this this operation so unique out of pretty much all the hunting I've been on, and it's why I can't recommend the Bowranch enough. Now, I'm never paid by Tony. I don't get any discounts for hunting there. I just am always impressed by his style, his preparation, and I see that in the results that I usually have there. Both times I've been down there, I've been able to be successful on these Aoudad. There's a lot of other tips and tricks and trades, secrets that he does to minimize the impact and long-range scouting, to put you in the best position to have undisturbed animals, which is what is needed for bow hunting. And I can't go into all those right now because it just takes too long, and he's just so methodical in what he does. But please watch my video here with the bow hunting and the success and afterwards. And if you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. Or better yet, get in contact with Tony Arce at the Bowranch, and he will give you the opportunity to make what was a long-time dream of mine a success, not just once but twice. This ram I was able to take the last time was a beautiful, beautiful old ram, long sweeping curved horns, an awesome hunt. And like I said, it just the way that the Bowranch operates, the way Tony operates, nests so well with what I am trying to do with providing critical thinking and analytical skills, and just an overall more in-depth approach to hunting. So if that interests you, please watch the rest of my video, and please visit the Bowranch. Thanks.